Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series fan channel exclusive Moon Knight. This is essentially just a reissue of a previous armored Moon Knight figure that we got way back when in the Spider-Man Homecoming Vulture Build-A-Wing set. So this was just another opportunity to get this figure out to folks because it was going for fairly high on the aftermarket. The Moon Knight Disney Plus series had already kind of come and gone, so Moon Knight was a little popular. This is not the Moon Knight people wanted, though, as in terms of a reissue. They would have preferred the Walgreens exclusive Moon Knight, I'm sure. However, we got the armored Moon Knight one, which, right or wrong, it is what it is. I don't usually get too hung up on reissues and things like that, because Hasbro usually does something to make one release different from another release, whether it's a different head sculpt, whether it's different deco, things like that. This figure, essentially, the only difference is that it includes a bow staff. And that's where I was a little disappointed. You know, the problem also is what could they have done differently with this figure? Likely nothing, right? They really couldn't. So it's just one of those things where, you know, if you're a completionist, you pick it up and you just you grit through it, right? Or for you guys, so, you know, because people question this dumb shit all the time. It's like, well, if you don't like the price of a figure, why do you still buy it? Well, I do it so I can review for you guys. I'm a completionist, so regardless, I was going to get it, but I would get it beforehand when it first releases so I can review for you guys. If I didn't have the channel, I would wait until for a sale or a clearance price. But regardless, that's kind of thing. I know people are still going to not like that reason and still going to talk shit. What I do with my money is what I do with my money. What you do with your money is what you do with your money. I don't know why people get hung up on all this bullshit about who pays this for what, who pays this much for what figure. If you want the figure, buy it. I wanted the figure. I want every figure. I buy it. Whether I buy it at full price, sale price, doesn't matter. I want it. I buy it. This Moon Knight is one that I didn't really care for. I bought it I pre-ordered on Hasbro Pulse with premium, you know, I get free shipping, just wait for it to come in, whatever, because I wasn't really excited about this one because, again, nothing was changed except for an included bow staff. Deco change, I like. Head sculpt change, I like. This one, nothing. But now that I have it in hand, I will talk about the differences between the two figures because there are some differences, extremely subtle differences, but still differences nonetheless. So looking at the pack, we get the Moon Knight logo there, 3D render. We actually get some artwork there on the side, which is pretty cool, which I would have liked if they went with this dark gray color as opposed to like the black color. But that is a slightly different color than the first release, not by much. And then just all the accessories that it comes with there, Moon Knight logo up at the top. So let's go ahead and get in for a closer look so we can start those comparisons. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Moon Knight figure, and it looks pretty good. I like how they did the glow effect with the eyes there. So you kind of do a blue outline with a little bit of the white in the eyes to make it look like it's glowing. The original release actually did that as well. Now, looking at the comparison between the two, at first glance, you're going to say, oh, they're the exact same. But there's a couple of extremely subtle differences between the two that I'm going to talk about. So number one is the color black. This one has like a faded black look. This one has a darker, shinier black look, as you can see. They're both black. I would both call them black, but a little subtle difference between the two. The other big difference, and this isn't super noticeable, but these white armor pieces, like on the forearms, the chest, and the legs, even the feet a little bit, almost have like a little shine to them, a little metallic shine, like a pearlescent white color. This new one is just a straight up flat white. That's kind of the big difference there. The cape, everything the same. The color is essentially the same because they're both white, but again, a little bit of a pearlescent shine to the original. And this one, it is just a straight up flat black look. Now, the moons aren't 100% identical, but it's not enough of a difference for me to say that it's a deco change in any kind of way. But again, they are slightly different size on there, but again, essentially the same. So two subtle differences. Other than that, the figures are essentially the same. The other difference, of course, that I had mentioned is that we get this bow staff here. This is the same bow staff that we had seen released with the Gambit figure that was in like a silver color. This one is just all in white. The batons is the same. So I think, if anything though, maybe this one's uses the harder plastic, whereas the other ones were pretty damn rubbery. I mean, there's some give to these too, but it's not as bad. So you have the baton there. We get the two hands, so you have these like throwing or the moonerang holding hands that have the vertical hinge on them. We get a right and a left on the out of the package. We have the left on there, and then we have the right fist on the right, and then we get an extra fist here in the package, and then we get the moonerang. So we have the bigger moon here. And then we have these three smaller moonerang figures that look like fingernail clippings. They're tiny. They're hard to kind of pick up real quickly. But we have these moonerang figures there. Before we move on into the articulation, these little moonerangs do kind of stick into the fisted hands there. As you can see, there's little peg holes on there, so you can have those moonerangs. But be very careful. Those things are extremely easy to lose. But let's go ahead and check out the articulation now. Okay, so Moon Knight's articulation. So it's going to be hard to get him to really look up. Getting him to look down is a little bit easier, as you can see there. You can do a full rotation in that head. Of course, the arms go out straight, as you can see there. You get a full rotation in there. Watch out for the cape, of course. Upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow that does have pins, because again, this is essentially just a reissue of this figure. So double jointed elbow that way. The wrists swivel and they do hinge. Remember, the moonerang hands, throwing hands and holding hands do have the vertical hinge, whereas the fists have the standard horizontal hinge. So ab crunch on this Moon Knight, he can crunch very, very far, which is great. Going back is a little bit, but again, the cape is going to really be an issue when it comes to that. You do get a waist swivel in there, and that looks pretty good. Legs go out that far apart, as you can see there. He can kick forward that high. Leg goes back, not really. Upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed knee that is pinned, of course, because again, this is a reissue figure, so that much bend there at the knee. There is an ankle swivel in there because it is on an ankle ball. Foot hinges down. You get some hinge up. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And there we go for Moon Knight. Actually, as I was going through the articulation on the feet, one other difference is the original, as you can see on the inside of the foot, it is white in color, so they didn't paint all the way inside the foot. This new release, it is painted black all the way inside the foot. So not a big deal at all, but that's one way to identify between the two releases. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys the bow staff. The way these hands are, the fingers are a little tight. You can kind of shove that bow staff in there to get him to hold on to it, but he doesn't really hold on to it really well. So it'll, as he now seems to grip it quite well. And just know that it's not, these aren't the best holding hands. So like the right hand holds a little bit better. The left hand really doesn't hold the bow staff like at all. So that sucks. So he would have to hold it with his right. Again, then you have to secure it under his fingers. Otherwise, you could still see that it could still slip through quite easily. So just be aware of that. And again, that was the big highlight of this figure, is that it comes with the bow staff that the original release didn't. So now that you guys have seen the differences between the two, you let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this Moon Knight release? I'm not the biggest fan of reissues, but in this case, you know, it is what it is when being a completionist. I would have liked some kind of difference. The problem is, what difference would there really have been? I don't know, maybe just a really dark gray instead of the black, but then that really wouldn't be comic accurate, right? So, you know, it is what it is. I think this would have been a better release, the Walgreens exclusive, because I think that's the one a lot of people unfortunately missed out on because of the distribution issues when it came to Walgreens. You know, Walgreens is no longer going to have exclusive Marvel Legends figures, and I think a lot of people are celebrating that. But it would have been nice if collectors would have been able to get this Moon Knight figure here. So you guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this Moon Knight reissue release? Are you happy you're now able to get it because you didn't get the previous one? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below. If you guys liked this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button to become a channel member and be a part of the MCU collective. And as always, thank you for watching.